Welcome back to another episode of A Side Of, or a Sidecast. Are we going a Side Of or a Sidecast?
We can go a side of.
Side
a
of.
Side of Kingdom Hearts.
All right, a Side of Kingdom Hearts. You know, part 3 of our who knows how many
Saga.
parts. Yeah, of our saga of this game. And if you're following with us, the last time where we left off last was we just got done with Deep Jungle.
Yep.
And now we are, story-wise, now we get to go back to Traverse Town.
Yes.
And
we get to go back to Traverse Town because we don't know where the fuck to go.
yeah,
and we got gummy blocks.
Yeah, we got these gummy blocks, and there's nowhere
We've got
new on
gorilla
the map to go. So you're like, well, Traverse Town is the hub of this game, so might as well go back there.
Let's go talk to Sid.
And well, first actually, go talk to Leon. Well, I guess you could do this in any order, but if you talk to Sid, because you got the gummy thing, and you know that he's a gummy ship, mechanic or pilot. Do they say what he is?
Yes. He's both.
Oh, okay, he's both.
Gummy ship mechanic. Yeah.
You go and talk to him.
Or I don't know if they say it, but he is a parallel to the Sid from Final Fantasy VII, who is a pilot and mechanic.
Okay, so I'm sure he is a pilot and a mechanic.
Yeah.
In this game as well. So you go and you give him the gummies, and he's like, "Oh, I know exactly what this is." And then
this is gorilla shit.
Wouldn't that be a twist? Oh yeah, this is.
Well, you remember the cutscene where Turk runs up and then like squats and then runs away, and that's the gummy piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking gorilla shit, man. That's what the gummy ships are made of, is gorilla shit. And then Goofy and Donald are like, "Wow, let's go over here. What's this shit?" It's like, "Look, I have this." It's like, "Oh, it's all over your hands."
It's all over your hand.
That's neither here nor there. So you talk to Leon.
Well, the bell when you give him the gummy, what is it with the gummy?
It's the warp gummies. I
Warp
think.
gummies.
No, it's navigation gummy. Navi-G. Navigations.
Oh,
You
that's
need
right, because
two
that's how you
halves of
get
it.
that's how you get the new worlds, is by giving them to.
Because you can see further.
Right. When you give them to him, there's this bell in town that rings, and it hasn't rung in a really long time, and you're like, well, something's got to be going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing you can do, but if you go talk to Leon, he doesn't. If you go talk to him before you talk to Sid, you can ask him about the gummies, but he doesn't know what they are. He just says, go talk to Sid. Why are you talking to me about this?
What the fuck's wrong with you?
I'm a soldier, not a mechanic. Is he a soldier? I don't actually know.
Yeah, he's a Seed, S-E-E-D, capital S, capital D, I think. Basically, in the game he's from, there are these military schools called Gardens with Seed members, which are like their elite students that they send around the world on missions for money.
So kind of like mercenaries.
Yeah. I mean, that's essentially what he is. He's a mercenary that works for somebody.
All right. And he does give you his lucky charm, which is called an Earth Shine, which will come up later.
The gem.
It's this little gem thing. So you go to the tower, and of course there's Heartless, because why wouldn't there be?
There's a lot of the
flyers.
The music Heartless, I guess we could call them, because their names are all music.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the ones with the propeller on their head and the bat wings.
Nah, there's none of those. Actually, when you go up there, it's those are air soldiers, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But it's red, yellow, blue, and I think green. Just pop up like a row of like 8 or 9 or 10 or some shit of them.
Oh, okay.
And I will always remember that, because every time I try to fucking kill them, I always end up accidentally flying off the edge, and then I have to climb back up and kill them a second time.
Oh, fun.
Yes.
So you go, and then if you ring the bell, there's this fountain that has this picture on it, and it changes pictures, and then you see, oh, there's the keyhole for this world. I have to go, close it. And then you go, and of course, more Heartless pop up, but you have to fight a unique one. I think this is the first time. Is this the only world where you fight the opposite armor that's not the Olympus Coliseum?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
another boss. He's a boss.
Oh, he is a boss. Okay, so the
He's the
opposite armor.
reverse guard armor, basically. He's the opposite armor.
And he's like the guard armor, but obviously because he's a boss, he's harder because his
Well, the
body
guard
is.
armor is a boss. He's just a shitty boss.
Is guard armor really a boss?
Yeah,
Huh.
I assume so. He has the boss music.
Yeah, it is true. Okay, well, I guess he's boss then. And so they go. You beat him, obviously. What did you think of him as a boss fight? The opposite
I
armor.
was actually just about to get to that because I kind of liked the whole what we would do better from last time.
Yeah.
So, I dig the idea of game design and all that shit. But for the reverse armor or the opposite armor, uh, because basically what happens is there's the guard armor, and then like his mask like opens and he flips upside down, and his feet close and become his hands, and then his hands go on the ground and become his feet.
Yeah.
So that's all well and good. We can keep all of that, and we can still keep the part where he like breaks off into multiple pieces. As far as each individual piece's like abilities, there's not really a whole lot you could do with them. I mean, the fight itself is pretty well done. I mean, it could stand to be harder, but you never want to make things too hard because then people get pissed off. But
True, yeah.
I think there's a thing that he does when he's close to dying where he'll like, I don't know if he's close to dying or if you kill off his limbs or something, but he'll like flip upside down and use the bottom half as like a cannon and then shoot giant laser orbs at you. I
Oh,
think it'd be cool if
jeez.
we could just like expound upon that. Him shooting more orbs at once, shooting a beam and following you with it, or
I
or
thought.
whatever.
I think would be kind of a cool thing is maybe the head would detach, and it would
And
be
like come after you.
no. Check this out. The head would pop out and try to stay away from you, and it's kind of fast, and
Hmm.
the body is slow and it's coming at you. But the only way to kill it is to do enough damage to the head. So you're sitting there trying to whack at this head while the slow body is coming at you, but it hits for bricks.
Yeah.
I think that would have been kind of a cool.
Take it a step further, you have to damage the body and the head, and then they get put back together, and then when they're together, you got to kill them. Like
Oh.
the head and the body have like their own separate smaller health bars,
Yeah.
and then you do some kind of reaction command or whatever, which they don't have in the first one, which sucks because that's one of the best things that they added to the second game is the reaction commands.
Right.
But that's for the second game when we get there. But you do something involving the Keyblade because that's how you are, and you deal the damage to the body, and then he'll just like kind of slump over with the knocked out stars above his head, and then you got to beat up the head, and then the head will merge with the body, and then their health bar will pop up, and it'll be like 3 or 4 health bars or something. And you go over and you start beating on them, and then they'll do something that knocks you away, and they'll split apart again, in true boss fashion.
Right. That'd actually be
But
pretty cool.
I think that would be cool if that only happened after you beat his limbs. Like I think it'd be cool if he flew up in the air and then just sent his limbs at you. And then that's phase 1. And then once you kill off his limbs, then the body descends and you have to fight him and knock him up. They break apart and then you have to get them back together. And then they stop breaking apart and then they do the cannon mode. And then they shoot at you and you've got to kill him by like knocking the blasts back, which makes guard more useful.
Okay.
So, boom, there you go.
There you go. That's how
Is
we
that
would do
better? Not necessarily better, but
It'd be harder.
it's a way to make it different and more involved. So
Yeah, because
There
like
you
we
go.
said, he's just currently all you do is just beat on the limbs long enough because each part of his body has a health bar.
Yep.
And then once you once you drop it down to 0, the arm or leg will just disappear. And now,
yeah, it just is gone,
yeah,
and it spits out a shit ton of health orbs.
yeah, actually it does. So it's not even a hard fight really. You just
Nope.
got to get good at dodging.
Yep.
So anyway, you do that. You close the keyhole. So then that Traverse Town is now quote unquote safe, even though there's every time you go there, there's still a bunch of Heartless all the time.
Yeah,
And
but it's not being overrun.
yeah, it's now manageable. So then you go
Yeah.
and you go to Merlin because you have a book to deliver, and he's got a cool little like hideout. It's like in the sewer, but it's in this huge cavernous place, and it's on this little island with this little house. And to get there is kind of a pain though, because you have to jump on these moving rocks in the water.
These floating stones. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you miss them, you go in the water and you have to start all the way back, which
And they move out of the way. They try to dodge you.
Yeah. So it can be a little BS, but once you get glide, wow, you just glide over it. You don't even need
Yeah,
to.
of course.
So you talk to Merlin, and that actually brings up a really quick thing. Did you ever see the Sword in the Stone?
Yeah, I don't remember it that well, but I did see it.
Do you remember Merlin's character in that movie?
Not really, but I do remember him doing the same thing he does where he like sets up his place with the bag and everything's all tiny.
Yes.
I remember that shit.
If you guys haven't seen The Sword in the Stone, it's just Disney's telling of King Arthur, the legend of King Arthur, but when Arthur is like a child
A children's.
and he meets Merlin, and they do a little bit of like the same thing they did with Aladdin. You remember how Genie would make references and do things that reference
Oh,
like
that were out of his time period.
yeah, Merlin did the same thing, like, but just not to the extent. Like, it wouldn't
Yeah.
make references. There's just like he would talk about things, and you'd be like, that hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
But you
That's
do
because
get
Merlin exists outside of time.
because he's Merlin, the most powerful wizard. Presumably, you only really get to see three powerful magical creatures, and that's Merlin. Not creatures, but users. Merlin,
Entities.
Yensid, and the fairy godmother. I guess you
Who do
could
you think
also
would win? Merlin or Yensid?
yeah, who's stronger? But then again, you never see Yensid do anything. So
Yeah, it's true. But Yensid trained Mickey.
yeah, but you don't get to see Mickey do that much magic either.
No, not magic, but you do see him fuck people up with the Keyblade.
Pretty much.
Well, fuck Heartless up.
There's also the three fairies,
Yeah.
but I
The
don't
three
know.
good fairies, I think is what they're called.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, what about Maleficent?
That's true, actually. Yeah, Maleficent uses a lot of magic too. So
And
I'd
then what
imagine.
about, as far as the Organization 13, what about Vexen and... What the fuck is it? Zexion? The one with the book? Spell book?
Okay, let me reset. Up to this point, when we get to them, we'll talk to them. But up to this point, Merlin. Actually, I don't. Yeah, you do. Do you meet Yensid? You don't meet Yensid in this.
Not in this game.
Okay,
No,
so
in the second
Merlin, up to this point, is the strongest magic user
that we know of.
that we know of. Good. Maleficent might actually be stronger, but they never fight, so we don't know.
Do you think by the end, Sora and Donald are better magic users than Merlin?
I wouldn't imagine, because Merlin's super old.
Well, yeah, but age does not equal. Magic traditionally is wielded by a strong mind and will.
Well, I guess going based off of what I've seen in the game to what I remember from the movie, Merlin can fly on his own. Merlin can change his body to be anything.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Like,
so
literally,
he's kind of like Martian Manhunter.
Pretty well.
He's just way stronger than you think he is.
Well, Merlin actually turns himself into a virus.
What?
Yeah. Okay, so there's
I don't Okay, I gotta watch that movie again. I don't remember any of this shit.
so there's this woman called Madame Mim, and she's also a I don't know if she calls herself a witch or a sorceress or whatever she calls herself, but her and Merlin get in a magic duel where essentially they keep changing into different things like animals and stuff just to try to outdo each other.
Yeah.
And there was like an agreement that they can't do anything fantastical like dragons or anything that's not you would see every day. I guess.
Otherworldly.
Yeah. And she cheats and turns into a dragon. So to fight her, he turns into the common cold and makes her sick.
That's awesome.
So
Fucking thug life up in this piece.
So Merlin is Merlin, That's why I say if he can turn
Right.
himself into a virus.
He's probably a little bit stronger than Sora magically.
Exactly.
Sora can stop time.
Merlin can travel through time.
Okay. He's like Dr. Manhattan. He just exists outside of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Which I want to know the history. I know there's a show called Merlin about Merlin becoming such a great wizard, but
Yeah, what is his deal?
yeah, how did he get so freaking powerful? Dang.
Like, what are the legends of the actual Merlin and all that shit?
Yeah.
Probably be pretty cool. What about Morgan Le Fay?
I know nothing about Morgan Le Fay.
I only know her as a entity in the DC universe from the Justice League show. Pretty much only as the bitch that makes Etrigan show up, and he's a badass. So
And he always rhymes.
yes,
It's kind of like his trademark thing.
he's so cool, dude.
So you also, I think, you get introduced to the fairy godmother,
Yep,
which
and she turns your Earth shine into. I was gonna say Earth gleam, but I think it's water gleam,
okay,
which is Dumbo. But it's a summon gem.
it is a
The
summon
poor
gem.
little
Which
dearies are trapped
this
in
actually
trouble.
brings up a couple things to talk about just right here. Justin, did you ever see Cinderella, the Disney version of Cinderella?
Yeah, didn't care for it. Saw it years ago, never watched it again.
You know, same thing. I've only seen it. Growing up with a bunch of sisters, I have actually seen it quite a few times.
Yeah.
But nothing ever really stuck for me because there was nothing.
I actually recently watched a Everything Wrong with Cinderella,
Oh yeah, yeah, I
and
saw that.
apparently there's a shit ton of like those mice. I don't remember them being as big of the as big a part of the story, but apparently they're like 85% of the movie is those
Yeah, if you
fucking
take
mice.
out all the mice scenes, it's like a short story.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah, so it was an okay movie, but I think it is, if it's not already clear, it is kind of a chick flick.
It's girly.
Yeah, not that
Hey,
that's
that's
bad. I mean, it's
sexist.
still a good love story, but it's just
It's not a good love story. It's got so many random plot holes and shit.
okay, it's a good child's love story.
Yeah, it's a good wishful thinking tale.
Yes.
But like they meet each other, and after 2 minutes, so this is what love is like?
Yeah.
I guess so, bitch.
There you go. But and then all right. So next thing, you get, like Justin said, you get a summon, and you get your first summon, which is Simba.
Yep.
What do you think of the summoning system in this game?
I love the animations, but the summons themselves aren't that great. Although I never focused on them because you can get cheer on all three characters, and then I think you can get a weapon that boosts magic and summon power, and then you can get like all items based on boosting magic and summon power. So I'm sure if you get enough bonus summon power shit that like Simba, when you bring him out, when he does his pride roar or whatever, ferocious roar, whatever the fuck, instead of just doing like a third of all the heartless around you's health, it probably do enough to kill them. But other than that, for the most, like even like the only one that's good is, in my opinion, is Tinkerbell. The rest are all just kind of whatever.
And we'll go, when they get introduced, we'll go from summon to summon, kind of explaining their whole shtick.
We'll talk about them, yeah.
But you do get Simba first, and like you said, you get a prideful roar.
Yeah, he just follows you, and then you charge it up, and then he just roars, and it does damage.
So
And it's not even that strong.
The way the summoning kind of works a little bit is you get to summon him, you know, and he actually, whoever you summon replaces Donald and Goofy, so you lose them and gain.
Yeah, you have to like pay some MP and your party members to bring the summon out or some
So
shit.
you would
like
think if you have to pay such a high cost, they would
they'd be really good.
but only some of them. Well, actually, spoiler a little bit. Tinkerbell is really the only one worth using.
Bambi is okay, but other than that, they're all just kind of shit.
Yeah, they did a better job in the second one.
Genie's not that bad, but he's
Genie,
still not
yeah.
great.
No,
Definitely better in the second game. Spoiler alert, Genie's in the second game.
yes, because there's.
Spoiler alert, Genie is a summon.
But we'll probably not talk too long about the Lion King because that's actually a level. Spoiler, it's a level in Kingdom Hearts 2. But briefly, what did you think of Lion King, Justin?
The movie?
Yeah,
Oh, I loved it. It was awesome.
one of your favorites, probably.
Yeah, well, maybe not favorite all-time movies, but definitely of the Disney fair.
It is. There is a reason why.
Isn't it like Hamlet or something like that? It's just a remake of Hamlet.
Yeah, it's Hamlet.
And I also heard it's a remake of a much older, like, movie about a fucking the same thing.
Just with lions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's still lions. The
Oh,
older
is
one
it
is
the
still
old?
lions. Yeah.
Oh no, you know what you're talking about? You're talking about Kimba the White Lion.
Yeah, Kimba or whatever.
Yeah, that's not a movie. That's an old Japanese. Well, it's an anime from way
Oh.
back when. I don't even know.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Right,
Okay.
right,
What?
right.
What? It was
Uh,
good. I liked it.
yeah, it is the highest grossing Disney film I think out
Is
there.
there an Everything Wrong with Lion King? Because I imagine that's full of them.
Oh, I'm sure. I am sure. Like the fact that Scar takes over and somehow all the plants die, everything's dead, and then
Yeah, he
Simba
just
comes.
like kills it all.
Yeah, somehow, which is weird because that makes you think that the lions are in charge of the agriculture.
Hmm.
Because you would think, okay, well, if everyone's starving because they eaten all the animals, wouldn't there actually be more vegetation because there's
Shit, not eating the animals.
yeah, instead of everything just dead.
And then Simba shows up, and yeah, it's
He
all good again.
roars, and apparently that freaks the clouds out, and they piss themselves and rains.
Yeah, he's Aslan. Remember?
Yeah, he's Aslan.
Simba means Aslan in African. Don't you know that?
You know, I saw this thing about they translated the opening song to Lion King,
Oh, really?
and essentially it's just, "Hey, there's a lion. Here comes the lion."
Wow,
Like, yeah, you think it'd be all deep, like, "Oh, this is something," but it's really just, yeah, there's a lion. There's going to be a lion later.
that's awesome.
But
Spoiler
anyway,
alert: there's going to be a lion later.
so the book that you give Merlin is actually the 100 Acre Woods, and we'll talk
Which
about
sucks.
which sucks. Well, we'll get into
Yes.
that once we're done. We're almost done with Traverse Town, and then we'll go to
We're almost
because
done with this version of Traverse Town.
this version because there is not like two more visits that we have to
Yeah,
to
you
do.
keep going back.
And so yeah, and 100 Acre Woods is its own world, so we'll do that after. But you can go right now. You can go.
You don't have all the book or all the pages.
Yeah. So after that, you go and you actually get to run into Riku. You leave and you go into I want to say second district.
No, you go into the third district.
You go into the
It's
third.
when you're leaving Merlin's area through the like fire door in the third district.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then as you're walking out, oh shit, it's Riku!
Which keep in mind, we haven't seen Riku since Destiny Island.
Yeah.
So this is
He's
like,
like,
holy
I'm not
crap,
afraid.
you're still alive.
shit.
Because last we saw you, you were sinking into nothingness.
Into the dark. Into the dark.
Exactly. And they're happy to be reunited, but there's all these partless, and they're fighting, and you get this sense that Riku, I think he even says it, but Riku feels like Donald and Goofy are replacing him and Kairi.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of mad at Sora, even though Sora's like, "Oh, come join us, help us find
Yeah.
Kairi."
He's like, I'm not hearing what you're saying. You're just such a fag.
Yeah, Riku's being kind of a little doucher right now.
And so Riku like runs away, and then Sora's just like, oh shit, I can't believe Riku. Yeah. So then they go to that like abandoned house with all the people in it,
Yeah, which has
which sounds like kind of an oxymoron.
an abandoned house with a bunch of people in it. Yeah, look.
Yes.
It's got Leon, Yuffie, Sid, and Aerith, and they talk about, you get the backstory a little bit about Maleficent and what they think she wants to do.
They shoot the shit.
Which, because it's Maleficent, Justin, did you ever see Sleeping Beauty?
That one I don't think I ever did.
You never saw the Disney's animated Sleeping Beauty?
I've never seen any Sleeping Beauty, and I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
With Aurora and the prince and all that, yeah.
I saw it recently with Colleen, and it is boring. Like, you think Cinderella might be kind of slow? No, this is just a bunch of nothing.
Well, this is so boring, and it's got a fucking dragon at the end.
Like, that dragon scene is really cool. They actually, for a Disney movie, a lot of times the villain, if he does, quote unquote die, it's kind of off screen.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, the dude chucks a sword into the freaking dragon's body, and it topples over.
Awesome. Dude, Maleficent's a beast. She can turn into a fucking dragon.
That's all she does, though, really.
Yeah.
Oh, and
still.
she also curses, I was gonna
For
say Snow
some
White,
reason.
but she curses, yeah, Aurora, but
Because she feels like it.
yeah. Well, yeah. In the movie, they really. I think in the movie, the reason she does it is because the kingdom is holding this big party because for the birth of Aurora, and they didn't summon Maleficent because she looks like a freaking demon. And then she's like, "Oh, you didn't invite me. Well, let me give your daughter a gift. You know, on her
You think I'm
18th."
a demon?
Yeah,
Then
dude,
let
she's
me
got
be one.
giant freaking horns. She's pale. She's in all black and
So
purple.
freaking hot.
She's Angelina Jolie. Come on.
I've actually never seen that one.
I
That
haven't
that
either, and I
the
hear
newer
it's
one.
yeah. I hear good and bad reviews for it. So,
I
but
heard it's nonsensical and shit.
but she curses Aurora that on her 18th birthday she's gonna prick herself on a
A man.
no, it's I don't know what it's called, but it's that
A, s- a, a spinning
a
wheel.
spindle maybe.
Spindle? I don't think spindles. I think a spindle is the little thing that you. No, that's a spool. I was gonna say that you wrap thread around. That's a spool.
Well, anyway,
Maybe.
it's this wooden thing that back in olden times they would
Olden
olden
times.
times they'd have
I bet they still exist somewhere, Chris.
the Amish probably use them. But anyway, and she curses her, and then on her 18th birthday, she's gonna prick herself on one of those, and she
It's called
go.
a spinning wheel.
It's a spinning wheel, but I'm sure there's a.
Told you. No, I just Googled it. Wikipedia, spinning wheel.
Oh, I thought it had an actual name, like a, not just a spinning wheel.
A spinning wheel is a device for spinning thread or yarn. There you go.
Spin me a yarn, Justin. Spin me a yarn.
Spinning with spindle and distaff, such as the spinning jenny and spinning frame displaced. Okay, yeah, so it's just a spinning wheel. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Bitch.
So anyway, they think that what Maleficent is doing is collecting Ansem's reports, which is something you can do.
Yes.
It's again one of those. It's one of those cool little side things you can do. You don't need to do, but it kind of
The
makes.
last thing I actually did was look at the Ansem reports, and they're fucking awesome.
Oh, well, do you want to explain a little bit about them?
Yeah, I can actually just do all my little notes here. So, Ansem reports, there are 13, so that was pretty cool. Which I wonder if it was originally 13 or if it was 13 because of Final Mix, if they added any.
Right.
But, so my initial thing was like, oh, there's 13. I wonder if that's supposed to be a hint at the organization or whatever. So then I'm going through them, and I wrote a note after like two or three or whatever. So the tests darkness in hearts, learns of heartless. So initially it's about Ansem the wise, not Xehanort, Ansem heartless, Xehanort, Zemnis. None of that shit. It's Ansem the wise, and he, oh god, it's if we had done this more recently, I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes, but he like starts doing tests for the darkness in people's hearts and things like that. He learns of the heartless, and then he like, I want to say he like creates a heartless, and so he's like, oh, that's kind of cool. So then there's this like kind of basement area or something where he just kind of lets the heartless team and grow and studies them. So he like tests them and then he like feeds them. He like gives them hearts to fucking flourish on, which was kind of cool. And I think, if I recall, he does it by like sending someone in there, some fucked up thing. So he's feeding them, and then the Heartless expose the keyhole to the world. So he starts developing all these like hypotheses about it being a heart of the world because they're always after. They're always he learns that they're always seeking hearts, and so they find the keyhole, and so he's like, oh well, this must be the heart of the world, and if there's this heart, there must be bigger hearts, and so then he there's like a meteor shower, and he discovers a gummy block, and he realizes that he could like do something with this. This might be a way to go to other worlds. And actually, he didn't create the Heartless earlier. He now is when he creates a Heartless, which I think he called it an emblem Heartless. So the shadows, the dark sides, the dark balls, the invisibles, the neo shadows, those are all pure Heartless because they're pure darkness. But then pretty much everything else, the ones that actually have the emblem on them, the like heart emblem, those are the Emblem Heartless, which I don't know if he created them all or if he just was able to create one, but Ansem created one, so that's pretty badass. And then as it goes, Mickey shows up talking about the Keyblade and things like that, and so he's like, "Holy shit! There's this, there's that." Then they open the doors to allow the travel between the worlds. Well, he opens his door to this world, I guess, and it opens whatever. And then the very final one is talking about the difference between the Heartless and the leftover body. And then I thought it literally gave me chills and like goosebumps. But when I read it, because I didn't realize that, because again, I don't know if this was from Final Mix or if this was from Kingdom Hearts, but I didn't know that there was anything to do with the organization and Nobodies as far as the first game was concerned. But Ansem dubs the leftover body as a nobody. He dubs it nobody, and that was like the last line. Like he called it nobody. It was like, oh fuck, Kingdom Hearts 2. So that's basically what the reports are about. Right. It's just about him kind of learning about the Heartless. You don't really learn anything new that you didn't already know, besides just some cool things like, oh, he created a Heartless. Oh, Mickey came to visit. You know, he did this and that. But for the most part, the stuff that you learn about the Heartless are stuff you already know about the Heartless from fighting them. So it's not amazing, but it's definitely really badass.
And if you think, if you haven't played this game and you're thinking, oh, I'll just pick them up along the way. Some of them, you have to actually go through and fight a pretty tough guy like Sephiroth just to get.
Yeah, they're also out of order. Like, when you get them in the story, I think you get, like, 1, and then 3, and then 5, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's meant to be mysterious.
And she obviously wants the notes so that she can maybe better control the Heartless or gain more power, whatever she wants to do with them.
Something like that.
And then, off screen, or away from our heroes, you see Riku and Maleficent talking. Maleficent's kind of filling Riku with doubt about his friends and trying to bring him over more to the darkness.
You see those faggots in there? They don't like you anymore. He's like, I'm gonna go join the darkness.
Not the band, because that would be kind of... Yeah, exactly.
Just listen to the rhythm of my heart.
And that's pretty much Traverse Town, the second visit.
Yeah, and then the later visits, you don't really do that much more anyway, so that's, for the most part, that's pretty much Traverse Town.
Yeah, the other ones, you have to go back for a very short reason, but as far as doing more stuff, that's about it.
Like, you go back to do the navigation gummy again, and I'm pretty sure that's all that happens. Yeah. And then you go back, like, a final time to see Kairi. Like, that's it. Spoiler alert, Kairi's not dead.
No, but what happened to her? Well, we'll find out. So let's talk about 100 Acre Woods.
Ew.
Justin is clearly not a big fan of this place.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Now, what we should say...
There's nothing wrong with it, but...
To begin with, 100 Acre Woods is very unique compared to the other worlds in that it is... First of all, you have to... It is a book... Because if you've ever, if you know
seen Winnie the Pooh,
if you know of Winnie the Pooh, it's about it. I think the kid's name's Christopher Robin, and he reads this book and he goes into it, and that's where Pooh and all his friends live. But the book's been torn, so as you play the game, you have to find the torn pages, and then you come back, and then it's now a new page, and essentially though, it's just a bunch of mini games. That's really all it is. There's no Heartless to fight. There's no boss. It's just mini games.
Yeah, and the mini games wouldn't be so bad if they were just not fucking boring.
All right, we're gonna pause.
It's more tedious than anything.
What about it makes it so tedious?
It's just basically that it's required for game completion, and it's just not fun for me. It's just like it's just kind of a war of attrition as far as I'm concerned. You go there the first time, you go talk to Pooh, and it's like, okay, this might not be so bad. You leave the world, you go to the next area, and there's Pooh, and it's whatever. But then you gotta go, you can't even do most of, like, maybe 90% of the place. So you have to leave, and then you'll randomly find torn pages throughout the worlds. So there's one in Agrabah, I believe. There's one in. I don't think there's one in Monstro. There's one in Atlantica. There's one in Halloween Town. There's one in Neverland, and then there's one in Hollow Bastion, I think. So it's going to take a while just to complete the book. So that's already kind of like, I wish I could just get it done with.
Yeah.
But there's some decent rewards as far as, because the torn pages turn into items after you do their little like shtick and complete the minigame. So it's got some decent rewards, so it's kind of annoying to have to do that to get them. But then it counts for completion, you know? I can't beat the game unless I lock that keyhole also.
And it's funny.
And the minigames are just slow and boring and short and just kind of... The minigames in the second one are a lot more fun, for the most part.
This one was just kind of a side thing.
It's just dull.
It really is. But as dull as it is, character-wise, I mean... Because Pooh talks about some sad crap in this. Like, because when you first run into him, he talks about how all of his friends have disappeared. He doesn't know what happened to them. And he has like a heart-to-heart with Usora, and it's like, wow.
Oh, by the way, did you want to read the Jiminy Journal entries for Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah.
Go for each character then.
All right.
For it.
Well, first, I guess, Justin, did you ever... I think it was a children's book first, Winnie the Pooh. Did you ever...
I have seen a Winnie the Pooh show.
Yeah, on Disney Channel.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I saw a few episodes. I think my favorite character was Gopher, just because he whistled.
Just because he whistled?
Yeah.
I like the owl just because he was a douche. But I still have the song stuck in my head. It's like, and I just said I knew what it was, too.
And then you forget it.
Gotta get up, gotta get going, gonna see a friend of mine, and then it just keeps going. Anyway.
Gonna see a friend of mine. I don't remember.
He's cute and he's fuzzy. I love him.
Pooh Bear, Winnie the Pooh Bear, looking for fun. Climbing up the honey tree.
Yeah.
That's all I know. Oh, wait, hold on. Pooh Bear, I want to be there. It's me and it's you. You silly old Winnie the Pooh.
Yup. And then freaking Eeyore with his, like, downsiness. He's not downsy as in, like...
His depression.
He's depressed all the time. Which I don't know why they just... I don't know why they decided to have a depressed character in this game. Or in this... show?
Book? Narrative? In this narrative?
Yeah. Maybe it's because you might...
I tell you.
Maybe it's because you probably will have a friend that's kind of a downer a lot of times, but...
But straight up depressed.
Or maybe, yeah, or straight up depressed. Or maybe donkeys are just naturally depressed.
I don't know.
But, alright, so the owl. It says, the wisest resident of 100 Acre Wood. Whenever anyone has a question he can't answer, he asks the owl. Though owl isn't always right, owl likes to talk, but sometimes he puts his listeners to sleep. Like I said, a douche. Roo, which is the baby kangaroo. Roo dreams of bouncing as well as Tigger someday. He's mischievous, energetic, and fearless, but grows uneasy when Tigger is not around. It's kind of funny, but kind of lazy at the same time. So the kangaroos, the mom's name is Kanga, and the kid's name is Roo.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah. Eeyore. Timid, retiring Eeyore lives in a little house in the roots of a tree. His tail is held on by a track, but it keeps... by a tack. But it keeps falling off and getting lost. Now he's wandering the woods looking for a new home.
Yep.
Maybe he's sad because someone put a tack in his butt.
Asshole.
Well, yeah, I think they're supposed to be stuffed animals, though. No, because they eat.
It's true. They're all figments of Christopher Robin's imagination.
Which makes you wonder, why is Pooh the only one wearing clothes? Well, no, that's not true. Roo also wears, like, a shirt. But how come they're the only one wearing clothes?
Comedic effect.
Comedic effect. Rabbit.
Christopher Robin has autism.
Rabbit Rabbit is an earnest, hardworking member of the 100-Acre Wood community. He keeps to himself but lends a hand when others need him. He's not always comfortable around the exuberant Tigger.
Hmm.
Okay.
The exuberant. Actually, for a second there, for me, your mic cut out, so all I heard was Igor. What were you saying there? The exuberant Igor. Is there something you need to tell me?
I don't need to tell you nothing. I don't got to justify myself.
I'm gonna justify myself.
So Tigger loves to bounce more than anything. Sometimes his bouncing gets out of hand, but he doesn't mean any harm. Beneath that happy-go-lucky exterior beats a sensitive, gentle heart.
Oh.
Piglet, which I hate Piglet. Pooh's best.
Oh, deer.
Yeah, no.
Piglet, we're gonna eat you.
I am a bear. I am a carnivore, and so is Tigger. Tigger should just look around. Every day I don't eat you is a blessing. And then just bounce away like he does.
The Tigger is a fucking tiger. No, he's not. He's a Tigger.
He's a Tigger. Pooh's best friend in the 100-Acre Woods, tiny, timid Piglet, is startled by just about anything. When that happens, he covers his eyes and his floppy ears.
He's a little bitch.
Yeah, more than even Eeyore.
But Eeyore's less of a bitch and more of a just downer.
Yeah. All right.
He's
so,
a Debbie Downer.
So Pooh, which makes you wonder, did they either name their main character after a word for your feces, or did Pooh just become synonymous with feces? Either way.
Well, it's pronounced or it's spelled Pooh, and he's Winnie the Pooh. I wonder if a Pooh is something.
I guess his name is Winnie, but they never call him Winnie. They just
call him Pooh Bear.
Pooh Bear. Yeah.
I'm gonna Google that right now. What is the origin of
the name Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah, the name Winnie the Pooh.
While you're looking that up, a little bear living in the 100-Acre Woods, his favorite food is honey. Being a bear of very little brain, he's a bit absent. Sometimes he even forgets what it was he was trying to remember. Wow, what a dick.
Oh, wow.
Jiminy's kind of in a butthole to this guy.
Most of the characters and names in Winnie the Pooh were based on creator A.A. Milne's son's toys and stuffed animals, with the exception of Owl, Rabbit, and Gopher. Wonder how he got those names.
Yeah, really.
The character of Christopher Robin himself was based on Milne's son, Christopher Robin Milne, or Milne. Toy teddy bear who Winnie the Pooh was created after is currently on display. He named his teddy bear Winnie after a Canadian black bear he saw. The real-life black bear was in turn named after the hometown of the person who captured the bear, Lieutenant Harry Colburn, who was from Winnipeg, Manitoba. The bear ended up being... This not... What does this have to do with the Pooh part? The Pooh part of the name was supposedly after a black swan that Christopher Robin Milne saw while on holiday. On holiday. I guess Pooh is a swan. Weird.
Okay, well, that's weird, but... The best part is, I know this isn't your favorite level, but they actually have...
Now you know!
They actually do bring back Winnie the Pooh in Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2. And Birth by Sleep. It's actually in a...
Ugh.
I know that's your favorite, but
fucking Winnie the Pooh.
Pretty much, dude.
So what happens in Winnie the Pooh story-wise? So you show up, you go to this like abandoned glade type. Oh, it's not a glade, but it's like an open area, a meadow, I guess, with a log in the middle. And Pooh's just sitting there. And you walk up, and you're like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "I'm thinking about shit, but I'm a fucking weirdo or something." I don't know, some dialogue. Fuck Pooh Bear. So then you go to his house, Mr. Sanderson, or some shit like that.
Mr. Sanderson, welcome back.
No, that's Anderson. Mr. Anderson.
Oh, I know. That's the joke, bro.
Or maybe he's Sanders or something like that. But then he's like, yeah, everybody left. I'm sad. Everybody left. So then you gotta go get the torn pages. So each page in turn, I don't remember exactly what order they're in, but one of them you go to a honey tree and you meet Piglet. And that minigame's actually not that bad. You just kind of climb the tree, and you have to swat bees away while Pooh goes up and collects honey. But it can be a little annoying because of the camera. So that's the big reason why I'm not a fan of that one. One of them, you go to Rabbit's house, and the mini game is just fucking garbage. But Pooh like gets stuck, and you have to get carrot juice to knock him out of the wall or some fucking shit because he's so fat. Okay, hold on. When you first show up to Rabbit's house, he's locked away, and then Pooh shows up and like gets into his house, and he's like, "Where's your fucking honey?" He's like, "Oh, I don't have any honey. I found some honey," and then Pooh just fucking steals and eats it all. What an asshole! Like,
Pooh is kind of a
that's supposed to be Rabbit's friend? What a gluttonous son of a bitch! So then Tigger shows up, and Tigger's an asshole too. You're supposed to be getting carrots for Rabbit, and Tigger just decided, you know what, I could bounce any fucking where, but I'm just gonna bounce all over your damn carrots. So then the minigame, you have to like run and stand on a carrot so that Tigger doesn't like land on it from his bouncing and like push it underground.
Yes.
And they even have a little system called like Rush or some shit where it'll like run you real quick over to the spot and get underneath him. But it doesn't work, and it's just fucking annoying and frustrating. So that sucks. One of them, you go to this... It's like Tigger's bouncing grounds or some shit. And you have to like jump around and jump up, jump around, jump around.
Yep.
And then you fucking have to knock these things back into a giant honeypot, and it doesn't even have anything to do with bouncing. And so that's stupid and annoying. There's one where you have to climb a hill, and you have to like lead fucking Pooh, and he'll just stop and eat honey wherever he finds it. So that one's tedious, because you have to just sit and fucking wait for him. And then the minigame is literally, look at Owl. Did he raise his hand? Yes, press X. You did it! Do that 2-3 times. Oh, look, you threw Pooh as far as he'll fucking go. Yeah. And yes, you do throw Pooh. And then the final
What is this,
minigame...
Tarzan level again? Dang.
Yes, it is. No, that one's actually fun. Even though it sucks. But you, the final minigame is like a big open area, and all of Pooh's friends are just fucking jerking off in random places. And you have to walk through, and in a certain amount of time, you have to like lead Pooh to each of them. You can't just go pick them up yourself. You have to lead Pooh to them and save them all. And then after each one, they go back to the start, and so you have to lead Pooh again, and it's just fucking annoying.
So
it's not worth it.
I think when the creators made these minigames, they must have... I think this is a bit of an inside joke, because one of the minigames is called Pooh's Muddy Path.
Gross. But yes, Pooh's Muddy Path. That's the one I'm just now talking about, actually.
But, yeah, that's it.
Pooh Fling.
That's actually it. There's no trivia to this because of how straightforward it is.
And the ending of the level is just like, all right, guys, we're friends. I gotta go now. But Sora is like, yeah, we'll be friends forever. Okay.
But I will
and then
never...
you like shoot the moon and you leave.
Yeah, and I'll never visit you. So bye.
Yeah, I will never come back. That's me. Until Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yup, you'll be back. I'll be back, but not willing. But yeah, so as you can tell,
not a fan.
Yeah, he's not a fan, and I was indifferent to it. You know, mini games are okay, but it's one of those I could have done without as well.
Can you call them minigames?
Well, I guess not. I guess they are part of the game, and they are. It's just because they have no relevance to anything outside of what's happening in the world, and
yeah,
you lose Donald and Goofy. You don't really fight anything. You just kind of button press a lot of them.
Yep. If you want me to tell you how I would do it better, just go look at Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Because they made it better.
So
they did it for me.
So I think we're good to move on.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Let's do it.
So once you actually leave Traverse Town, because if you recall, the 100 Acre Woods is actually in Traverse Town, you go to Agrabah. So
yeah,
I know we've been waiting to do Agrabah because that is one of our more favorite movies.
It is one of the better worlds, I think.
So where to start? Do we talk about the level? Do we talk about the story?
Start with the characters. Read
All
off
right,
the characters.
so we're gonna start with the characters, which there are a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
the very bottom actually is the Cave of Wonders. There's no entry for it, but it's there.
Yeah, the Cave of Wonders. It's a wonderful
Cave.
cave.
Well, it's actually Cave of
Oh.
Wonders Guardian, I guess, is what it actually is.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of cool. I mean, well, actually, you know, a good place to start even before this is what I know you've seen Aladdin, but
Yes.
how do you feel like? How much do you like Aladdin? What do you think about Aladdin?
Dude, I used to watch it like every fucking day in fucking high school. I used to come home from school and I would get on the computer and play RuneScape and just put on Aladdin or Without a Paddle in the background.
Without a paddle.
So yeah, Without a Paddle.
Yeah, I remember it, but was it that good that you would?
I just liked them. I liked them. They're good movies.
Okay.
And so I've seen Aladdin a bunch of times since I was a kid.
You know, one complaint that I keep hearing about Aladdin is Iago being voiced by Gilbert Gottfried.
Why?
I don't know. I guess he has a very piercing voice, which I think it works well. He's a freaking parrot. Yeah, I can see Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, I think it's pretty perfect.
And Jafar, dude. Jafar in this.
Oh yeah.
So if you, as you may or may not know,
Love his voice.
there are 2 sequel movies and 1
Yeah, I've seen
television
'em.
show.
I've seen a little bit of the show.
The show is okay. It had its moments. They
When
introduced
Aladdin fights Hercules.
like Aladdin fighting Hercules. That was a freaking amazing thing. Though I think Hercules would just win because you can be smart and Aladdin is pretty smart, but he does have the strength of a god. And
Yeah,
even
it's
if
Hercules, man.
you out trick Hercules, his dad is Zeus. You kind of lose by default there.
He'll just like break out of whatever prison you put him in.
Exactly. What did you think of the sequel movies?
The Prince of Thieves, no, King of Thieves is the third
King
one.
of Thieves, yeah, is the third one.
That's the one with his father,
Yeah.
right? Aladdin's father. The
Yes.
second one is like Return of Jafar or some shit like that.
Yeah, Jafar comes back, but they introduce. If you hadn't seen the television show, it introduces
The fat dude,
What?
right? There's like a fat
Yeah, I'm
merchant
trying to remember
bandit
his
kinda
name.
guy?
I think it's Abysmal.
Abysmal. Okay.
Abysmal, obviously trying to make a wordplay with abysmal.
Yep.
And
Abysmal.
Abysmal. And he just like he finds Jafar's lamp, and it's funny because he's like, "Well, if you're my genie, you have to do what I say." And he's like, "You can't kill me, you know, you're my genie. Genies can't kill." And he's like, "Oh, but there's so much more you can do before you actually get to killing or something."
Yeah. He's like, oh, okay, I'll take that one. So the second movie was whatever. The third movie was better than the second movie, but the first one's better than them all.
The third one was actually really good because I like the idea of the King of Thieves, and
Doesn't someone get turned into gold?
yeah, because what they're after is this hand. They actually
The
go,
Hand of Midas or some shit.
Yeah, the Hand of Midas, which anything it touches, which if you remember, they have to go on the back of a turtle to go get.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, if the hand touches anything, it turns into gold. And there's one guy that's part of the 40 Thieves, and he's the villain, and he gets turned into gold.
All right.
But anyway, so now that
And then the show is just the fucking show. It's whatever.
which was actually really good. I thought there were some really good moments in that show, but
I did not watch it.
it was okay. But all right, back to the characters. The next one is the peddler from the beginning of the movie
Yep.
and the end. Which, you know what I found out? I think that was supposed to be, or people think that's actually Genie in human guise.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't explain all the reasons why, but I think that's there's a theory about that.
He does kind of sound like him at times.
I think he might be voiced by Robin Williams, which is why people.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. All right.
Come
So
closer.
Jafar, the first
Little
character.
close.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just said, come closer. Too close. Little too close.
A little too close.
It's the Dead
Jafar.
Sea Tupperware. If you listen
Jafar is
closer.
the. Jafar is the
Sorry.
first guy on this list with an actual, crap, not just no entry. The vizier of Agrabah, he joined forces with Maleficent and tried to control the Heartless. He gained control of the lamp and became a powerful genie, but was defeated by Sora and his friends. So keep that in mind that Sora takes on a freaking genie,
He has the power of the cosmos.
and he got beaten by a child, a duck, and a dog.
A child, a duck, and a dog. Yeah, but that child is fucking. He can stop time.
Not
and
at this
he can
point, though.
fly. No, not at this point. But I just mean, this kid is not just some random fucking kid.
Yeah, true that.
Plus, Donald and Goofy. I don't know if it's ever said, but I'm sure they were at least trained by Mickey at some point, or trained with him.
Well, one is the
So they're
captain of the
probably-
guard, and the other one is the
The royal magician.
royal magician. So that it does make them sound like they're pretty decently strong.
Yeah.
All right, Iago, Jafar's cunning, crotchety parrot. He's Jafar's eyes and ears as he flies around Agrabah, spying on his master's enemies. Iago's tasks after Jafar with a penchant for intrigue and evil.
Ooh.
He actually becomes a major character. Iago does in the show.
Yeah. He becomes like a good guy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
An
Carpet.
anti-hero, I guess, technically.
Well, yes and no. He's still greedy. He still wants crap, but he just helps out the group whenever he can. Carpet, a magical flying carpet loyal to Aladdin. Carpet can carry passengers over the vastness of the desert at great speed. The Heartless had Carpet pinned to the floor under a chest.
Yep.
Yeah, that's actually a thing in this level. You release Carpet from this
In Aladdin's pad.
in Aladdin's pad, and he's actually he's the one that alerts you to one of the secret bosses.
He takes you to him. Out in the sand.
Because apparently he's just in the middle of nowhere. Agrabah is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Agrabah is in the middle of an apocalypse.
That whole theory about it's actually in the future and it's after some kind of an apocalypse, which is why Genie knows all these references.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense.
And there's a crazier theory where Iago is actually infused with the soul of Gilbert Gottfried. That's why he actually sounds like that. And is smarter than a normal parrot.
Huh.
No, I just made that up.
Wow. It sounds like it could be a thing. I mean, there's always theories running around about everything.
Yeah.
Alright, so Abu, the monkey. Aladdin's faithful furry sidekick. Abu's size and ability make him valuable in tight spots. He's got a weakness for jewels and treasure, and when he's around them, he can't think of anything else. So, you actually use Abu in this level. You send him to go do things because you can't. So he does serve a purpose.
You can, actually.
Oh, without Abu?
You can hit one of the gems without Abu. But I think most of the gems you just can't reach.
Okay.
So.
And then, Genie, the wacky spirit of the lamp, he spent centuries cooped up in the lamp until Aladdin found him. He must grant 3 wishes to whoever controls the lamp, even if they are evil.
Yep. Can we just take a quick moment? Don't edit this out. A quick moment of silence for Genie. Damn, what an awesome character.
Yeah, too bad Robin Williams, man.
Yeah, I know. He was great.
Don't.
Actually, speaking of that, I saw a magazine cover the other day, and when I looked at it, I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. It said, farewell to those we lost or some shit like that, and it had a bunch of pictures, and Robin Williams was on there, of course, but one of them was Joan Rivers, and I was like, oh yeah, totally forgot Joan went also.
It's because Robin Williams was more part of our life than Joan Rivers.
Well, yeah, but she was still awesome.
You know, I actually didn't. The only thing I really knew about Joan Rivers is when people parodied her in other things, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I actually didn't even know who really Joan Rivers was until like.
For shame.
So Jasmine, spirited princess of Agrabah, longing for a life of freedom, she slipped away from the palace and encountered Aladdin, who she quickly grew fond of. As one of the princesses with the power to open the keyhole, she was abducted by Jafar and the Heartless.
Nice.
She's one of the princesses of power.
She's
Of,
pretty hot.
of
Pretty
power.
awesome.
Did you say she's pretty hot?
I was like, she's pretty hot. She's pretty awesome. Power.
Oh wow, she's the
What? What?
you.
No, seriously. What?
What? She wears pajama pants, bro, all the time, and somehow wears a top with the sleeves not on her shoulder, but never falls down.
It's true. That's just because she's so skilled.
She's skilled.
She's
Aladdin.
She's got mad bomb skills.
Aladdin, a young man living in Agrabah, he helped Sora defeat Jafar and use his last wish to release Genie from the lamp. Aladdin asked Sora and friends to help save Jasmine, who has been abducted. Spoiler.
Nice. Yes, it is.
So that's all the main characters you're gonna run into, minus the Heartless. Justin, do you want to talk about the Heartless that you first or maybe only encounter in this place?
Let me think about it. The new Heartless for this level are the bandits and fat bandits.
Very
The bandits
original.
are pretty cool. Yeah, the bandits are pretty cool. I like them for the most part. I mean, there's not really a whole lot I would do differently. They're easy, but they're not too easy. They got some cool abilities. They throw their blade. They fucking fly at you. Whatever. The fat bandits are definitely a lot better than the large bodies because with the large bodies, if you have counterattack, you hit them in their belly and then you go to counterattack, and then it just hits them in the belly, and you can just keep doing that over and over and over, and you'll never hurt them. But with the fat bandits, when they like lean back, you can actually hit under their belly and still hurt them. So they're definitely not as bad. They breathe fire, so they're easy to run around and hit from behind. They spit fireballs at you, so you can just knock those back. So they're pretty well easy, and it's kind of awesome. I like them.
And the bandits
But
are
then-
just bandits.
Yeah. I already did them. They're just bandits. There's
Yeah.
nothing special. The pod spiders is a new one, which again, it's just like, oh look, it's a pot. Let me walk over and hit it. Oh look, it's got legs. Oh look, it blew up. Okay. Like they really don't do anything.
Yeah.
Um,
There's the barrel spider.
the barrel spider's not until Monstro.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
I think that's it actually. I think that's the only new ones.
Well, what about the pot scorpion?
Oh well, that's a rare heartless.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the pot centipede is the boss.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes. The pot scorpion is one of those rare heartless that we haven't gone over yet.
Oh. Okay.
You know?
So, you know, the world was pretty cool. You know, it's mostly outdoors, and you do actually get to go into the Cave of Wonders, which I thought was really cool.
Yep. You actually get to fight the Cave of Wonders.
And now tell me you've never was that not a cool thing when you're like, wait, I gotta fight a giant lion's head made of sand?
It was pretty awesome. Plus, I just always liked the Cave of Wonders from the movie. The diamond in the rough. Like, he's just badass, you know?
Yeah, he has a very deep and growly voice.
I like it. And then the actual fight against him is really fucking easy.
I'm trying to think of things to say. You know, we were like hyping up Agrabah because it was once.
Well, we're just talking about the Heartless right now.
Yeah.
So, we just about good. I mean, we'll talk about the rare Heartless later. And okay, let's talk about this pot centipede real quick. The final boss, Jasmine gets put into a pot, and then all these other pots pop out, and then all these legs pop out, and it makes a big ass centipede. So he's really easy, but he can be hard because he'll like insta-jib you at the end sometimes, where he'll just kill you real quick, and you're like, oh fuck, I wasn't ready for that. For the most part, he's just really easy. You hit him, he runs away. You follow him, you hit him. You just kind of follow him around the town, and that's about it.
Pretty
So as far
much.
as that goes, it's got one of the worst bosses.
Yeah.
So how would I do that one better? What about you? Would you like to
I think it
take
might
it?
be cool. Like maybe he could like throw one of his pots at you and it would explode, so you'd have to dodge it.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
or maybe he could separate and there'd be a bunch of enemies attacking you, and then he'd come back together.
I think he does break apart, but they don't all attack you at once, I don't think.
See, I think that would have been pretty cool to have that as a little.
Or he like crawls up the wall or something and then sends like waves of himself down at you.
Hmm. Well,
And
there's
then
only
as
like
you
there's only like
beat
three
them,
or four or
they
five
fly back
pots
up to
on
him.
his body to begin with.
No, there's like 9 or 10.
Is he really that big? Holy crap!
Yeah, he's kind of long. But even so, you don't have to make it so that the pots actually blow up. You can make them more sturdy, and then as you beat each one, it goes back up the wall to the body, and then he sends down the next one. And he could have different sections that are different colored that do different things. You know,
Yeah. Okay.
like you like you really could just change it slightly. Just in little ways here and there, have the fight be mostly the same, and it would probably be just better.
Yeah.
So, that one's
Uh,
cool. Yes.
I think that's it for Heartless, really, unless you want to talk about the Scorpion. But
Now we'll talk about that later when we do synthesis.
okay. Well, you do get a Keyblade. I don't know if we've been talking about the Keyblades.
We have the first new one you get is from Deep Jungle. The second new one you get is from here. It's the Three Wishes.
Yeah. Which is okay. It's hard. I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1. So what did you ever really use Three Wishes all that much when you
When
were?
I got it,
Yeah.
I used it when I got it, but then I replaced it.
I,
Usually I replace it with the Pumpkin Head because that one's pretty good.
oh, so you actually kept it for a little bit then, because Pumpkinhead's a little farther up.
Yeah, a little bit, but you don't get one from Monstro, I don't think.
Yeah, so you should keep it through Monstro and then
And then I
Neverland.
use. Well, no, Halloween Town.
Was it Monstro and then Halloween Town and then Neverland was the middle?
No, it was it was Agrabah, and then you could either go to Halloween Town or Atlantica, and Monstro ambushed you between the two,
Oh, okay.
and then you went back to Traverse Town real quick because there's Geppetto there and all that.
But actually, go
And
back for the
then
third
you.
time after you beat Neverland.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, like you can go back there, and there's Geppetto there,
Oh, okay.
and I think you actually can get a Keyblade from there, but it's not very good.
Oh, okay.
It's called Wishing Star or something. But so yeah, you get that. But anyway, let's move on to the story for this world. It's not awful. It's not amazing. Most of the stories in Kingdom Hearts for the individual worlds are not that spectacular.
Okay.
Like really, when you think about it.
They're pretty much. I think I said this in one of the earlier videos. It's just they take the movie that they're from, and then just like add in Heartless and add in Sora, and that's essentially what you get.
Not entirely, but kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
They
Except
take the
for
same kind of
Earth's
idea.
Coliseum, that almost had nothing to do with the movie.
Well, yeah, of course. That's because that was a Coliseum.
Yeah.
Okay, so we start when we first get to Agrabah. It's a cutscene, so we don't even get to see Sora, Donald, Goofy. But Jafar is looking for Jasmine, and Iago's there. Maleficent shows up, and she's like, "We need Jasmine because I don't know if she reveals it, but I mean, we need Jasmine for the door. We got to open Kingdom Hearts or the door to darkness or whatever they were opening."
Hmm.
So they need her, and she warns Jafar, be careful, don't lose your fucking heart. Jafar's like, bitch. So, well, actually, what he says is, I think it's, your concern is touching, but hardly necessary. Or, I guess more accurately, Your concern is touching. Or the fuck he talks.
Yeah.
Hardly necessary. Fucking Jafar is badass. Anyway, so, Maleficent leaves, and Jafar leaves, and they're just kind of like looking for Jasmine. And then she's just kind of right there behind the stall next to them. So it's like, oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So then you get to start as Sora, Donald, Goofy, and you just kind of kill shit. And in one of the alleyways, you can find Jasmine, and you save her. Jafar appears, kidnaps her, But before they leave, she yells out, and she's like, hey, you gotta go find Aladdin in the desert. So then you go, and at this point, you gotta go find the carpet, which is in Aladdin's house. And then he'll take you, because normally when you try to go in the desert, you're just in the desert. It's like nothing. You just go back to town. But the carpet will actually fly you over to the Cave of Wonders. But the entrance is closed, so you can't go in that. But, you're there. And Aladdin's in this, like, sand whirlpool in the middle, just kind of, like, surrounded by Heartless. And then you're like, oh, shit, we got to go over there and help. So you kill a shit ton of Heartless. And then it goes into a cutscene, and there's just too many. And so Aladdin's like, Genie! Make them disappear! Or some shit. So, Genie snaps or whatever, and they all disappear. And so then you guys get to go back to town. And so on their flight back, you kind of meet Goofy and Aladdin, and everything's all fucking cool and whatnot. And Aladdin's like, I'll, just like in the movie, I'll set you free. I'll use my third wish to set you free. So it's kind of cool. So then you're back in Agrabah, and there's a lot of things that are, if I remember correctly, they're like, certain areas are like boarded up, so you have to like climb up and jump over things and kind of find your way through the town an alternate way. And then once you get to the palace gates, you find Jafar with Jasmine, and Aladdin's gonna like save her, but Iago steals the lamp, and so then Jasmine falls into a big ass pot, which is the pot centipede, and Jafar and Iago and the lamp, they kind of just get away. So then you have to fight the pot centipede, which is not the final boss, but he is the heartless boss of the world. But you do fight a different boss later. But so you fight him, and we already went over that fight. And then you go after Jafar in the Cave of Wonders, which at this point the world gets much better in my opinion. The actual city of Agrabah is whatever. It's cool and all, but it's just kind of whatever. But then when you get to the Cave of Wonders, it's definitely a lot cooler. There's all these like traps trying to knock you off into the pit.
Which you don't die when you get knocked into the pit. You just kind of go to this lower level, and then you have to work your way back up. Yeah,
this water area, and there's tons of loot all over the place. Like, all over. Which is the Cave of Wonders, So you make your way through the Cave of Wonders, and you find this big open room, and Jafar's there, and he's like, yeah, first wish, Genie, reveal the keyhole. Maleficent then appears, and Jafar suggests turning Riku against Sora. So that's pretty cool. But then you run in, you see Maleficent. She just leaves. She's like, Dipset, quick. No, fuck this. I'm out of here. So Jafar uses his second wish to get Genie to fight alongside him against Sora. And if I remember correctly, Genie's like, sorry, Al. And then, he does this whole thing. He like covers his eyes when he shoots magic and all that because he doesn't want to fucking kill you.
Right.
And actually, this fight's also really fucking easy. Like, you just follow Jafar around. Like, he doesn't really... Like, you can just dodge Genie without even trying. So, there's that.
Which is sad, again, because, being the Genie, you'd think he'd be really hard to fight, but...
But in this case, he's not trying to kill you. He doesn't want to.
That's true.
But, so then you beat him, and he uses his third wish to become a Genie himself. And then you just kind of fight him. And to beat him, you have to beat the shit out of Iago in the lamp. And then once you beat him, you find out that Riku kidnapped Jasmine, and, they're gone. So then you're like, oh, this sucks. But you promise Aladdin that you're going to go out and find her. He sets Genie free, and then you go. You get Genie as a summon.
Which, okay. Some that I forgot to bring up about the summons. So, they make it, they say about Simba that he's essentially his world was lost. His world was destroyed or whatever.
Yeah, and he survived because he was strong of heart.
Right. But you would think that would have been an interesting conversation when you first bring out Simba, that there are now humans running around and they can talk, and it would have been cool to see if.
The fuck is this shit?
Yeah, where's my pride? Who are you?
Yeah.
I thought that would have been cool. It would also have been cool that Genie, like we said earlier, Genie kind of isn't that great. I mean, he's not the crappiest one of the group that you can have, but
Yeah.
he's definitely could have been better. He's a freaking genie.
He definitely is a genie.
And,
he's got phenomenal cosmic powers.
yes.
He made to live in space.
A little space. What would you have done to make that fight better?
The genie fight or the Jafar fight?
Yeah, both. I'm
Both.
sure. Yeah.
For Genie, so what Jafar does, if I recall correctly, he just kind of flies around and shoots lasers at you.
Yeah.
And then Genie kind of flies around and tries to punch you, and then I want to say he shoots spells at you or something. But to make it better is if it was more like the Ansem fight later. If you remember, he's got his Guardian like right on his back, and it'll sometimes pop in front of him and block attacks.
Yeah.
It would be cool if Genie did that, if he stayed closer to Jafar and actually, instead of... Well, now that I think about it, Genie's purpose in that fight is less of helping Jafar and more of getting rid of you.
Yeah.
You know? Like, Jafar didn't command Genie to protect him. He said, Genie, go take care of them. So, actually, I think it'd be better if they were constantly far apart. So, they actually got that pretty well off. Instead of Genie going over there and protecting him, they're split up because Genie doesn't want to fucking protect his ass.
I think you had a good idea. I mean, that would have been an interesting it would have been a cool prepare you for the last fight kind of thing.
Yeah, like training.
Yeah.
Like in you didn't play this, but in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, the final boss of the Forest Temple is Phantom Ganon, and you learn how to fight him by knocking his... He shoots magic blasts at you, and you have to hit him back with a sword.
Okay.
That's exactly how you fight Ganon later as the final boss. So, kind of a little training there. They could have done the same thing here, but I think it'd have been cool if you had to actually fight Genie first, and instead of your whole thing is, well, we can't kill the Genie. He's our friend, so you got to just fight him and kind of beat on him, and then get away from him to get over to Jafar, so that you can hurt him. And so, let's say Jafar is just, instead of just flying around, Jafar is just up in the air. And he's just, in the middle of the room, flying up in the air, shooting spells down at you. And then Genie is just kind of following you. So it'd be pretty cool if you could, you block Genie's attack, and he'll stun him for a quick second, so you hit him a couple times, and then he'll knock you away, and then you gotta, dodge, and... he could do a variety of things. He could take his tail and spin it like he does and make, a whirlwind. He could just turn his tail into a propeller and just make a whirlwind. And,
That'd
suck
be pretty
you
cool
in.
to see, yeah.
He could, turn his hands into giant blocks and just, try to crush you. He's the Genie. He can do whatever he wants. But I think it'd be cool if the fight is essentially, not necessarily tediously, but I guess skillfully fight the Genie. You're not trying to hurt him. You're trying to out-skill him, so you can get around him and then over to Jafar.
Yeah, because you're not going to beat him. He's a genie.
Yeah. So, and then other than that, that's basically how I would do that fight. For the Jafar fight, basically the same thing, just a bigger arena and much deadlier attacks. Because Jafar just kind of sits there. You literally can just ignore him. He won't do anything to you.
Very much.
So, but that same thing where you got to follow Iago around and beat him. But how about this? Instead of an arena where he just flies back and forth and you follow him, a linear course that he takes. So he'll fly over here, and then you got to run up on this, chase him down, beat him, and then he'll get away from you, and then he'll fly up this thing. So you got to climb up here, and it'd be cool if you had to go through hell and back, chasing Iago till you finally beat him, and then it would feel very satisfying because it's finally that fucker is done. But the entire time, Jafar is just trying to sabotage you. So as you're climbing a ladder, he's just shooting fireballs at the bottom of the ladder or something like that,
Yeah, that actually would be really intense.
Actually, if you remember Sly Cooper. You remember whenever you like run into Carmelita Fox, how you're supposed to just kind of run away while she shoots at you?
Yeah.
Kind of like that. Only you're actually chasing Yago
Okay.
because they really don't do his phenomenal cosmic powers justice.
No,
So
they
he really
nerfed.
doesn't do shit.
It seems like they took a lot of characters that were super powerful and just nerfed the crap out of them.
Oh yeah, they absolutely did.
Okay, so how would you? What's after the Jafar fight?
What's after the Jafar fight?
Yeah.
Nothing. The world's pretty much done. You lock the keyhole. And you go back to Aladdin's house,
Pretty much that's
and
it.
then you get the 3 wishes, and you get the some accessory that does like plus magic, best wishes, or I don't know, some shit like that.
Some crap like that, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Let's see if there's any little bit of trivia for this world. You do actually get to go back to Agrabah in the next game in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Hell yeah. Oh, one thing that's kind of cool. After you beat this world, you get the green Trinity, which means you can actually start motherfucking crafting.
Oh, okay.
Whoa, what is all this shit? Sorry, I scrolled way down to the very bottom, and it's just all these different Heartless. And there's just some that I do not know.
Yeah, I know. That too keeps happening to me. I'll look at them and I'm like, because I haven't played it recently.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was like, did these pop up and I just didn't remember them, or what's going on?
There are some that do not pop up. They don't pop up until Kingdom Hearts 2, Chain of Memories, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm going down here and I'm like, what are these things? It says Heartless, and then as you go further, there's like these fucking armored ass Heartless.
Yep.
So I'm wondering what they're from. And then Nobody's Shion third form. What?
Yep.
What is this shit?
Stuff to look forward to, man.
Yeah, seriously. I might have to, find 358 over 2 days and actually play it.
Nice.
So I only got like halfway through it.
So, yeah, I couldn't find any interesting trivia about Agrabah, but...
Interesting trivia.
Well, there's only one thing of trivia, and it's just in the strategy.
The Brady Games official strategy guide incorrectly has the Thundara ring labeled as a Thundaga gummy on their map of the relic chamber.
Yep, that's it.
Wow, that was pretty fucking cool.
That was so interesting.
That was fucking... So, that's pretty much all of Agrabah.
Yes.
What else is there to talk about?
I mean...
It's a well-designed level. It's fun.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I think it's better than what they did in Kingdom Hearts 2. I hated the carpet ride that you had to do.
I did not mind that at all, actually. I thought that was kind of fun.
But
When
we'll
you're talking about when you're like fighting all the Heartless on carpetback, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
So do you think we have enough time to do the next world, which is Monstro?
How far have we got?
We have about yeah. Oh, whoops. Yeah.
What do you doodle, Bob?
We've got about an hour and 15.
An hour what?
An hour 15.
Monstro's pretty short. Yeah, let's do Monstro.
All right, so Monstro. So to explain Monstro, they actually fixed this in Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, but originally he was almost a random encounter. Like you had to meet him the first time. The game was set up that way. But once you left him, he wasn't always there. You had to just be lucky enough that he would show up.
Yeah, I do remember trying to get him, and then him just like
not being there.
Pissing on me.
Yeah, but they fixed it in Final Mix, so now he's always there. But
Okay.
So to start
actually
off,
teleport to him.
Justin, I think you told me you've never seen Pinocchio,
No, I've never seen Pinocchio.
but you are aware of the characters like Pinocchio, Geppetto, Jiminy Cricket, the Blue Fairy.
The fairy lady.
I've seen it, and actually, this movie gave me a fear of whales, dude.
A fear of whales?
Yeah, because Monstro because I saw it when I was a small kid. Monstro is terrifying. Like the music, the build up for him. I mean, he is just terrifying.
Terrifying?
Yo, yeah, terrifying, man.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I mean, dude, I don't even know,
I don't even know.
but oh yeah, this is gonna be really short. So the characters are Geppetto, which is the kind, gentle clockmaker. Sora and friends helped him escape from Monstro's belly. These days he's living in Traverse Town and looking forward to a day Pinocchio becomes a real boy.
Okay. I'm a real boy.
And I'm an old
Didn't we talk about this in a previous episode? He, like, prays for a son.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
I don't know. And who's the blue fairy? Is that supposed to be God?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Why not? A couple of bee hotches, why not?
Why not? And then Pinocchio, crafted by Geppetto and brought to life by the blue fairy, he'd have lost his heart to the heartless if it hadn't come to the if I hadn't come to the rescue. Now he's living in Traverse Town with Geppetto and working hard to become a real boy.
Nice. Is he really working that hard?
Yeah, I don't think so. You know what would have been cool? If Pinocchio went over to the to Leon and his group and got trained by them to be a fighter.
That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah. Because it's Leon, Aerith, Yuffie, and later Tifa. I
And
mean,
Cloud.
does Cloud join
the-
them?
In the end credits, you see Cloud talking to Aerith and Hollow Bastion.
Dude, you know how BA Pinocchio would be if he got trained by Cloud and Leon?
It'd be pretty awesome. It's pretty beastly.
So what starts Monstro is if you haven't played the game, you don't know he's coming. You actually go to what is it? You either go to
You fly from Agrabah to either Atlantica or Halloween Town.
is it only after you beat Agrabah, or can you beat Halloween Town and then?
No, it's once you beat Agrabah, it happens.
Okay.
And you go to the next place. Because you can't go anywhere until after you beat Agrabah.
Oh, okay. So then you're flying, and then just out of nowhere, this whale, this space whale, by the way, he's just in space somehow, swimming and not dying.
But he's
And
not a four-dimension whale.
no, and he just eats you, and then the rest of the level is in his stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to give kind of a little description as to what you do in there and how it relates to the story?
Sure.
Yeah.
So you show up in his mouth, and it's kind of funny because he's just swimming around, and you're in his mouth, and it's just filled with fucking wood and debris and shit. But whatever. You meet Geppetto and Pinocchio, and you're just like, well, I don't know if Pinocchio's there, but you do meet Geppetto. Yeah, Pinocchio's there because when you first start, he's up on this thing. Goofy keeps getting hit in the head by stuff. And you look up, and Pinocchio's up there, and then he runs off. And, so you go and you meet Geppetto, you talk to Pinocchio or whatever. And then while you're speaking to Geppetto, Pinocchio runs off to explore Monstro. So you're like, oh, fuck. So you run after him, and inside, the next area, which is actually part of the inside of Monstro where you actually fight enemies. It's called, like, Chamber 1 or some shit. You meet Riku again, and he's got Pinocchio, and Pinocchio's just, like, fucking out. So he's like, oh, look at this. And you talk to each other. Oh, no. Yeah, because Riku runs off with Pinocchio. That's right. So then you're just like, essentially just talk about shit, exchanging ideals or whatever, because, it's Riku and Sora. And Riku runs away, so you're like, oh, fuck, we gotta go. We gotta go after Riku, and we gotta save Pinocchio, because it looks like Riku's a bad guy. So then you just kind of, like, the story of the inside of Monstro. You just run around the inside of him. That's about it. You run around until you find a parasite cage. You beat it. You save Pinocchio. Then Riku takes Pinocchio. And then you run around some more until you find your way to the stomach. The Heartless try to take Pinocchio's heart, but, he's a puppet, so it doesn't work. Riku runs away, and then you have to fight another parasite cage. And then, actually, I think it's the same one. And then you're actually killing it this time. But you kill it. Everybody's happy. You go back to Geppetto, and yay, Pinocchio. Oh,
Yeah.
and then at the end, Monstro spits you back out.
Okay.
So Pinocchio and Geppetto escape, and they go to Traverse Town somehow.
Somehow I think they go out the blowhole.
Well, no, but I mean somehow they travel across space to Traverse Town.
Oh. Okay.
Like you don't take them there; they're just kind of there when you go back.
Oh yeah, somehow maybe in that rowboat that he had in there, but then again, when that
It's a
killed.
space rowboat. It's a
Yes.
gummy rowboat.
What did you think of the battle with the parasite cage?
Oh, hold on. Before we get to that, the new Heartless in this world. Um,
There's really well, it's the search ghost.
um, yeah, the Search Ghost, which is kind of annoying, but he's not awful.
He's more prevalent in Halloween Town than he is in this one.
And Atlantica. He shows up a lot later,
Oh,
but he's just annoying because he's got a lot of health. And right before he dies, he'll just disappear, and so you're like, "Fuck this guy." But other than that yeah, that's the and the Barrel Spider,
yeah.
which is exactly the same as a Pot Spider, except I think he blows up bigger or some shit. So
So yeah. There's also the rare ghost, but we'll get to that after the
yeah, the Grand Ghost.
yeah.
We'll get back to that.
I
So
think
yeah, the story and the enemies are it like this is a really short world, and I wouldn't actually call it a world.
no, it's too short to really do anything. It's just kind of a little side thing, like, oh yeah, look at this.
Mm-hmm. It's just to help move the story on a little bit.
Yup. Yup.
So the Parasite Cage. Now, if I remember, the fight basically goes: he's really tall, and you don't have high jump yet, which you
Nope.
get in this world.
Yep.
But you don't have high jump yet, so his weak point is his face, and you can't like jump up and hit it. It's like difficult. You can, but it's just annoying because you hit his belly a bunch and it bounces you off. And so you got to hit him in the face, and he's got these two flailing arms that will just randomly hit you. And I don't think he does anything besides that the first time you fight him. And so he's just kind of easy, but he's just annoying. And the second time you fight him, you do have high jump, so he's much, much easier as far as that goes.
Yep.
But then he'll bite you with his mouth, he'll hit you with his tentacles, he'll like stick him into the stomach acid and then like spray the acid around, and it'll put like a dot on you that does a lot of damage. But other than that, he's also pretty fucking easy. So, not too difficult.
Nah. And then there's the rare, which is the grand ghost.
Yeah, which we'll get to when we cover item synthesis.
When are we going to cover item synthesis?
Probably towards the late game,
Okay.
because you can do synthesis once you beat Agrabah, but you probably aren't going to be able to do more than a couple of the actual recipes. Even if you go back throughout the game, you're probably not even going to get it halfway through.
Wow.
But for the most part, the item synthesis, you're going to want to actually go and seek out the items you need for each item individually, as opposed to just collecting and hoping you get the right stuff.
All right.
So the Parasite Cage, what would you do better?
What would I do better with the parasite cage? Well, he's called the parasite cage, so I was kind of hoping he would, like his tentacles, when it hits you, it would siphon a little bit of the damage and heal him a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to share a little bit of trivia with you here, I guess. The reason it's called a Parasite Cage is it is a boss, a very early on boss from Final Fantasy IX. You go into, I don't know if it's from other Final Fantasies or anything, but the one I know it from is from 9.
Okay.
You go into this place called Evil Forest, and it like kidnaps Vivi. No, it either kidnaps Vivi or Garnet, and it holds them in its mouth. That's the cage part, the parasite cage, and it's just a plant. It's not like in anything's body, but it's the same thing. It's just a plant version of it.
Okay.
Because you fight it, kill it, and then another one shows up, and then you have to fight and kill that one. But that's what it's based on. So that's why it's a parasite cage. Although I think in Final Fantasy it's not parasite cage, it's some other thing. But I assume this one's parasite cage because it's a parasite inside of his stomach.
Okay.
So, but yeah. So what would you do better? Sorry.
Yeah, the siphon the energy thing, like siphon you maybe. Like maybe one tentacle, if it hits you, it takes away your health and replenishes its own. and then another one would take away like your MP.
Okay. Well, one thing it would do in Final Fantasy IX is the person it had in its body, it would occasionally steal some of their health to heal itself. And then that was another lose condition, is if he stole all of their health.
Oh dang.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
So that's pretty much what I would have done.
He steals health and magic.
Yeah.
The magic is whatever, because in this game it's not huge, but definitely the health. I think it'd be cool if the first fight he would like spin around, because he's got these long ass like tentacle arms. It just spins around, and then you have to like get close to his body, otherwise they'll hit him. They'll hit you, and then he'll like put his arms down, and you gotta like jump up to get away from them, or something like that. Make it a little more involved, but then transfer that ability into the harder version of the fight, and have him actually get the stomach acid. And when he's spinning, to add more danger, he sprays the acid into the air. You can make him like put out little acid bubbles that float around that you have to dodge. He could just eat somebody. He could just grab somebody in the parasite cage and then hold them there, and then just constantly suck life out of them. And you got to beat on him until it breaks that person free. Like
yeah, it would have been actually
just little
pretty
things
cool.
like that.
Yeah,
you make it a little bit better.
Like the design is pretty cool as a whole. I wouldn't do anything to the design, but I think what you said about the attacks would have been cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, in Final Fantasy IX, it's called the prison cage.
Okay.
But it's like the same type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Big fat body and then long arms.
It's got two long tentacle arms, just like that. The only difference is that it holds them above it instead of its mouth being below the head.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, I think other than that, there's not much else to say. Monstro's just kind of Monstro doesn't show up. It only shows up in Chain of Memories, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you even run into Pinocchio in the second game, but you don't run into Monstro again. You just assume he died of lack of air.
You assume he just is gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually right here, trivia for the prison cage. It says, the heartless boss in Kingdom Hearts, Parasite Cage, bears a striking resemblance to Prison Cage, and furthermore plays a similar function, capturing Pinocchio within its mouth. So yeah, pretty much what I've already said.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this guy. Sorry, it's a boss from Final Fantasy IX, Raul Vuimago.
Mm-hmm.
Or Raul Vuimago. It's this giant snake worm. Awesome. But that's neither here nor there. Maybe one day we'll do Final Fantasy IX and I can get you to actually play it.
Maybe. It'll give me a reason to play it.
It's so good, dude. It's just fucking awesome.
All right. Well, I think that's a good time as any to end this part.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's nothing else with the world, right? I'm trying to think if there is. I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't think I am.
I don't know if you said this, but one kind of cool thing about it is that it's kind of easy to get lost. You kind of have to remember which chamber you went through, because it's not linear. It's not one chamber goes into 2 and then 3 and then 4. They actually lead into different chambers.
Yeah, 1 goes into 4, and then 4 drops down to 2, and then there's a pathway from 2 to 3 back to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty awesome.
That's kind of cool, but other than that, that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. So yeah, I think we are good with this.
Yeah, and so next time, being kind of fish themed, we're actually going to go to Atlantica, yeah.
And then Halloween Town.
There you go.
And then
Neverland. And that's probably, looking at how long it takes us to get through each world, that's probably as far as we'll get in the next one.
Yeah, we probably won't get to Hollow Bastion.
But I imagine we have a lot to talk about with Atlantica, more so with Halloween Town and maybe a little bit with Neverland.
Mm-hmm.
But
and then in the next one, when we do Hollow Bastion, it'll be good because we can do Hollow Bastion, The Return to Traverse Town, Hollow Bastion Part 2, and then we can start doing the end game stuff before we move on to the end of the world.
Exactly.
So we can finally talk about synthesis, and we could talk about, mastering all the spells and fighting the super bosses and getting all the fucking Dalmatians. And
so not making any promises, but it might sound like we have at least 2 more videos to go before we're done with Kingdom Hearts.
Probably 2 or 3, but before we're done with Kingdom Hearts 1.
Before we're done with because we have access right now to Chain of Memories. We could talk about the story of 358 over 2 days.
We could. You do have the game. We could play it. It's just kind of not that fun of a game.
Nah, not comparatively. And then now we have access to two Birth by Sleep and the cinematics for Coded.
Well, I have Coded, so you're always welcome to play that.
You have Coded for what system?
It's for the DS.
Huh. There you go.
I don't have Recoded. I have Coded.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us on another episode of A Side of.
Yes, thank you. I would like to say real quick, though, if I feel less lively than usual, I apologize. I've just been sick today, so I've been feeling really off my game.
Well, I forgive you, Justin.
Oh, okay. The only one that matters.
Well, thank you.
The only one in my life who cares.
So if you liked, like us, we're still waiting on that first comment. I'm
Yeah,
waiting.
we are, you fuckers.
We've got like almost 150 views, but not one comment. What
Oh
are you,
yeah, that ain't shit.
What are you afraid? What are you afraid to leave a comment? We're gonna ostracize you.
Yes, we will. Actually, in all likelihood, we probably will.
Yeah, we'll call you out.
Dude, I love your show. Fuck you. Look at this faggot. He says he loves our show.
Your
He doesn't
mom
know
goes
what
to
love
college.
means.
You know that kind of crap.
Your mom goes to college.
But- But we're waiting for it, and we will see you next time. And you have that crap we just said earlier to look forward to.
Fuck yes.
And so we will see you next time.
I love you.
Bye.
Prince.